The Todd Shapiro Show.
Time to hit the button!
On Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
Hey, dude, are you in Vancouver right now?
I'm in Vancouver, sitting in the office.
Cool, man. How's Vancouver right now? How is it on the west side of this country right now? West side?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, the rain's been holding up this winter, but it's a bit chilly out here. But it's okay. We're working away, busy.
My co-host Brian O'Gorman is big time into Vancouver.
I mean, I love going there. Yeah, I tour there at least once a year and stuff.
Yeah.
I worked on Wreck Beach for a summer. It was a good time. It's a nude beach on UBC campus.
No way.
Yeah, it was originally like a hippie commune in the 60s, and you just can kind of walk around in all your glory, and people will come up to you. They're not supposed to, but they say you go cold beer. But yeah, I spent a summer as a bootlegger naked on a beach in Vancouver. It's a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hobbs, you ever been there?
Have I ever been to Wreck Beach? I think when I was in high school, we went to Wreck Beach. Check it out.
Nice, man. And hey, how is everything going with Vanbex and always working on many different projects? I noticed also your Twitter, you're talking about how crypto is alive and well, and contrary to what people are sort of saying and the cynics of it. Well, just on a blanket statement, but how are things going? And let's get into the crypto.
Well, sure. We're still trucking away, building products. Actually, we've done some of our best development over the last couple of months in this down market, and able to come away with products that we didn't know that we were going to build. We actually built a product called Crypto Tax by accident because our accountants were like, "Hey, Kevin, we need to do your financials." And it's going to take us 12 months to audit all these cryptocurrency transactions. Can we build something to help us? And I was like, I have no idea. So I sat my accountant down with a couple of our developers, and lo and behold, a few weeks later, we have a product, and now we're iterating on that and able to basically reconcile 12 months of transactions in minutes. So that just kind of came out of the woodwork. So that's a positive. And then our product is now morphing into a complete end-to-end solution for issuing digital shares or equities or assets or real estate. All blockchain-based, full compliance and everything. So, we're really trucking along, but the industry as a whole has it's like a desert right now. There's not really much happening, and people are really scared. But I do think that things are going to start coming to fruition here soon when we start getting some traction from some of the larger organizations that really is still looking at this on the technology side and not the speculation of the crypto.
That's just the crypto tax is sort of what I was listening to most. I'm not gonna lie, because that blew my mind, and meaning that I've been involved in the space for I guess over a year now, and really getting to understand it and learn it, and I even traded for a while and stuff. And Kev, you know that. I'm just speaking maybe to a new audience who might not know that about me. And I've seen a lot of pitches and a lot of different sort of opportunities in space. I've never once heard anyone talk about something that seems like it should have been done forever ago, is this crypto tax thing, especially to help with the governments and regulation and all that kind of stuff. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that no one came up with it before. Our accountants kind of said the same thing. They're like, we're having this trouble, and they've been our accountants for a long time, so they're well informed about crypto and things like that. But one of the things that is hard for blockchain companies is to actually get an audit, and that comes from being able to kind of probably track the profits and losses in such a volatile market and where it comes from, all of that. So lo and behold, we built this product that reconciles transactions in real time, calculates your profit and losses, and gathers all the information, in Canada, that the CRA is looking for when you're doing your taxes with crypto.
Well, and I think people, especially in this space, they really wanted some sort of, regulatory body to understand this and get it. And this, to me, that's why I think it's so brilliant. It adds to a big step to that, to for those naysayers to truly legitimize it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's going right now. It was a bit of the wild, wild west before, but now things are calming down. They're like, hey, there's some real obvious benefits here when it comes to tokenizing things like, the auditing and tracking and transparency of it, and being able to trade in a global market 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and open up new projects to a global audience, which was difficult before, and raise funds in these projects, from the ground up. So that's all coming to fruition, but people want to do it in a way that they know that their money is safe. And so that's kind of the next step. You hear a lot of talk about security tokens or tokenized assets and stuff, but how do we really do it properly? And I think that's what a lot of people are working on these days, and we are as well here at Vanbex. It's
just tough to, now not disclose half that money in case you ever get a divorce, like...
yeah, you're definitely screwed now.
I thought it was no, but I think this is an important step. The one thing I do find really interesting, because everyone talks again very negatively about the industry and more of the crypto side of things, not the blockchain side of things. But if you look at the market cap of still a lot of these coins, and Bitcoin being over 83 billion still, I believe, and Ripple being in second and stuff, but even some of the altcoins that are much further down, like what would Fuel's market cap be right now?
Fuel's market cap, and we only have 50% of the tokens in the market cap for Fuel. And there's many reasons for that, because it's a true utility token, so we hold a lot on our platform. But its market cap, is roughly around $4.5 million US.
And to think about that there's still that much money within these different coins and everything, and I guess I think that's such large sums of money still. That I'm sort of amazed that people are still so cynical on it, because there's a lot. There's a lot in there still, and there, frig, I almost swore. Certain economies could use some of this money, like actual countries.
Yeah, and a lot of actual countries are building their own cryptocurrencies. But I think it is a lot of people came in at the high, right? So a lot of people are kind of like down right now.
Yeah,
so they're just upset. They came in too late, and the promise of cryptocurrency and blockchain didn't come to fruition fast enough for them, right? It's like with millennials and stuff right now. They need instant gratification. If I don't see profit in 8 seconds, I hate this. That's just the way it is. So I think that there's a lot happening that's going to give value back to some of these companies, but that's when they actually get their products in there and people go, you know what, there's actually some utility to these tokens. And other people are going to have to basically do a token swap or token offering, saying, you know what, my token's actually only valuable if it's attached to my company in some way, if it's an equity, if it pays out a dividend or things like that. So I think we're going to see a lot of token swapping, a lot of some companies actually coming and building a product that people could see the real use case for it. And the majority of them, though, are just going to fall off, similar to what happened in the early internet days.
Kevin Hobbs joins us from Vanbex. We're here at Brian O'Gorman. Are there when you meet people now, are they personally a little more distant to the industry? Or, what I mean? When things are hot, they're hot. Everyone wants to be your best friend and all this kind of stuff. Do people personally act different?
Well, they're skeptical. They're more skeptical, right? Like people, you tell people all the benefits, all the great things, but they're like, yeah, we kind of heard this, and now we're not seeing anything happen. In Canada, I think there was a similar effect with the cannabis industry. When it first got boomed and we thought that we were going to get it legalized right away, there was this massive, massive boom, and everybody was like, rah, cannabis is the next biggest thing. But then it took this big downturn, and then all of a sudden it swung back up again when things started to come to fruition, like when it got legalized and things like that. So we're seeing similar things, especially in Canada here. They're like, yeah, we've heard it, but, when are we actually going to see it, be able to touch, feel, and smell it for ourselves,
I hear these sort of rumors from seed to sale on the blockchain one day. Some companies have kind of pitched this. Is that something that's a viable kind of tracking method in that cannabis industry?
Well, it's definitely a viable technology that blockchain can provide. Any type of tracking, transparency, auditability. The blockchain's built for that. That's what it's best for. And if the government says, hey, you've got to track the seed to sale, so the people buying it know that they're getting the strain that they want, then blockchain is the best technology that they should be looking at to do that. And we have been approached by some cannabis companies in the past, talking about this, but I haven't seen anything like in the works yet.
Yeah, and if I'm a drug dealer, I might want to do that too. Just be like, hey, listen, it wasn't made in my bathtub, okay? It wasn't made in my bathtub.
Check out my wallet. You can prove it right here. There you go.
Kevin, it's always nice to catch up with you. Hey, let's just do a little lighthearted thing here for a second. Was there anything you wanted to talk about or mention? Like, did I forget anything?
No, I mean, geez, I like the fact that we just kind of chat when we're on here. But I mean, one thing I'd like to mention for all of you out there, we're now in our new offices. Great, really big new office. And what we're doing, this gives us the opportunity to do something we wanted to do for a while, and that's Vanbex is now going to do a blockchain incubator. So if you're a blockchain company and you're looking for some guidance and you're looking for some office space, we're going to provide qualified applicants with cheaper office space and the ability for us to kind of be like advisors and help them out to build their blockchain startup. So we're going to do that in Vancouver. People all over the world are eligible to apply, and we're going to take the best candidates and hopefully help them be successful. So that's something new here.
That's awesome stuff, like a we work for blockchain type of stuff, but being able to actually offer and help guide them. That's what you do. You give back. Hey, let's talk a bit of basketball, okay, O'Gorman?
Yeah, okay.
Are you awake over there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Are you awake, man? I gotta put him on the blockchain just to see if his heart's still ticking.
I'm into I just it's out of my pay grade, this conversation.
And we're not paying him to be here, so
that's what I'm saying.
Let's talk Raps. What are you thinking? What are you thinking so far, Kev?
Well, I'm kind of upset that I missed so many games. I don't get to go. Things have just been so crazy, but I like what I'm seeing with them coming together these days. I think Kawhi needs to step it up a little bit more, though.
Really? I think he just needs to play more, but I understand why they rest him, because they want to sort of make sure that he's available and healthy for the playoffs and stuff. But it's a really exciting time for this country, and that's a nice thing when you talk about the Raptors. They really are Canada's team. Have you sort of been watching some games? Have you had some time? Because I know you're a diehard fan.
Oh, I've watched a little bit of stuff like that. And I try to catch it. Hopefully I'll be able to watch more soon. But I'm really impressed with Pascal Siakam.
Yes.
I really like that guy. I love the way he plays. I love his attitude. We need more of that there. And I do see the Raptors. I think we could see a Raptors-Houston final this year.
Dude, Harden is unbelievable. And back to Pascal, I would say that he's got to be a front runner for most improved player. He's just, the whole story about him is brilliant. No, it's just unbelievable. Didn't he not start playing basketball till he was 18 years old, Bilal?
I believe so. I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah, it's just an unbelievable story.
No, I just love his attitude. I love watching him play. He just has so much fun.
Yeah, and which is the way. Exactly. I kind of like all the Raptors for that reason. They look like they're into it. They look like they're having fun. There's not a lot of. They seem like a team without a lot of big egos, and that's one thing that sort of bothers me, and I might just be envious of it because they're already talented enough as basketball players. You don't need to be talented enough as movie stars too, or producers. Leave some of that for people who don't have natural ability to go and do some of the beautiful things that you guys do with the basketball every day. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Save some for the rest of us.
No. We're going to have some trouble with the Bucks, though.
Oh, man. The Greek freak. I can't believe you can even say that in this day and age. The Greek freak.
Oh, soon you won't be able to say it. You won't be able to say anything. In the States, you can't even wear red hats. It's incredible.
No. We've talked about that. We talked about it earlier today, and I thought that was asinine that people don't have the freedom of expression, despite what your political leanings are, what you think, or that if you want to wear a red hat that says "Make America Great Again" hat, that should 100%, with your president of the United States having that as his motto. Well, the new motto is "Build the wall or crime will fall." The fact that people make issue of that really frightens me, quite honestly, and what even frightens me more is the comparison to it being like a KKK hood. It's don't trivialize the atrocities and heinous crimes that this world has sadly seen. And again, it's not to say that there can't be a terrible bigot and racist in one of those hats, but it doesn't mean that everyone wearing one is.
No, it's ridiculous. And even this day and age, can you believe it? If you're a kid, you can't even say that I want to be like my president these days. like in the U.S. When they're going around asking you what would you like to be when you grow up, if you say I want to be, president, they look at you nowadays, if you're comparing yourself to Donald Trump, like you're a racist. Like poor kids that are being affected by this.
I think what's really interesting is most people I talk to sort of agree, like say, what Gorman, you're laughing. Well, you don't agree or you do agree or
what, that like the kids are racist?
Yeah, well, someone would claim that the kids are racist just because they're wearing a hat.
Oh, no. I mean, they should be able to wear whatever they want. But I mean, like, yeah, when they're comparing him to the president, I think it's like, things like somebody like George Bush Sr., which I'm not like a right-wing guy, but that was the head of the CIA. That man was a genius, But Trump, it's like, yeah, there's all these like sexual allegations, the whole grab her by the and all that kind of stuff. There's like maybe a standard that has been lowered a bit with him.
And, and I will say that. I mean, those are all fair things. Like, a standard's been lowered, but, he got in by lowering that standard on purpose to represent people who felt lied to by the elitist sort of crowd. And again,
he got in by playing the Electoral College pretty sweet, too.
Yeah, but you know what?
The Republicans haven't won the popular vote since like 90, I think. Or before
but
that.
again, these rules are rules, right? So like I compared this to the football games the other day, which were brilliant, NFC and AFC. Here with Kevin Hobbs and Brian O'Gorman, and people were like, "Oh, it's crazy that you only get one score. Like the first person to score, that you don't have an opportunity to come back." I'm like, I might think that's crazy, much like I think it is crazy that every vote truly doesn't really count because of the Electoral College, and they base it out, they spread it out, and certain they weigh it, but those are the rules. The rules going. You can't complain about the rules after. You have to complain about them before for the next one.
Sure, but there's all kinds of rules that are being bent and broken, and gerrymandering going on, and changing districts and stuff. They also like. The voting machines themselves, I don't care what country in or what you believe, those things are creepy. Those voting machines, like they've proven that they can be hacked and stuff like that.
Dude, here
very
with Hobbs
easily.
right now, the first thing that should be on a block completely sort of tracked is voting. Like Hobbs, when's that going to happen?
A lot of people are working on that right now. And actually, funny enough, we're building a voting mechanism into our platform, but that's more for like corporate voting on shares, but it can be applied to political voting as well.
I think that's honestly like the most important thing to be able to track and not necessarily have transparency in terms of who voted for who with the person's name, but to know that there was X register, a registered voter, the name X'd out, but the vote tracked, shown where it's gone to, and reconciled that way. And I can't believe in this day and age of technology that something like that doesn't. I really can't believe that doesn't exist.
No, man. And the company that like makes the voting machines in the States are huge donators to Republican sides mostly, but they do both. You know what I mean? They're playing both sides. But it can be very easily hacked. There's been a lot of people that have demonstrated how easy it is to hack those voting machines, how easy it is to literally sway the decision from 51-49 this way to 51-49 that way. There was a guy that was actually going to go in and testify about it, and it was about when George Bush Jr. got in the first time, and then it was Florida had been swung and stuff like that. That guy was supposed to go testify, and he died on a plane crash like the week before. And I'm not being all conspiracy theory-ish, but I'm telling you, man. No, it's just sort of a weird thing. Like, though, it's a very common thing to have these voting machines hacked into constantly, and for some reason they're still using them, and it's suspect as hell to me, you know.
Well, and the thing is if the states wanted to, they could literally commission a company like ours or other blockchain companies.
No, yours. Yours is the best, Vanbex. Only yours.
Drop the website.
But they could commission to have this built pretty quickly and easily. But the thing is, would they accept it? Like, would they actually use it? Like, we can come out with it. We could probably build it in less than 6 months. But would they use it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like getting them to use it is the hardest part, because they don't want to. They don't want something that can't be hacked.
Yeah, well, we can literally build it, and we can say this cannot be hacked. The votes can't be faked. We can verify every single user that has cast a vote, and it can all be there for the public to see, fully transparent. That's not even that hard.
We should be doing that.
You know, it's weird. Like, the real, it's weird because I go on radio and sometimes put on like this exaggerated side of me, but at the heart of it, you think of something like that where we know a system like that could exist, And the only reason why they would never hire a company like Vanbex to do that is because there is some shady stuff going around all the time from our biggest, highest leaders of any country. And it's worse in look at what's going on in Venezuela right now, right? With the socialist government over there. And I mean, it is so... It's really disheartening, and it's just to know that there could be solutions put into place through technology, something that we do promote very well, but we're promoting it for all the wrong reasons, just to complain about something on Twitter, like we're not using it for truly good. And
it's just all money. You just follow the money. It's like, seems complicated, but it's all pretty simple. It's like, hey, they could stop war tomorrow and spend all that money on helping people. It's like, yeah, but then a bunch of people don't get billions of dollars and they lose all their jet skis, and that's an issue for them, It's a big issue. They need as many jet skis as they can have. Especially the ones in the pools in the front yard. I was watching this thing about, I think it was Rick James, but in his front yard of his house, he had a pool with like 3 jet skis in the pool. And I was like, that's all right. You got too much money now.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, the little blow-up duck wasn't enough.
Yeah. Invest in some blockchain or whatever. Did I say it right? Yeah, there we go.
Come on. Hey, Hobbs, I love these chats. Well, when are you back in Toronto? I'm asking selfishly. I want to go to a Raptors game with you.
Well, let's talk. I'm not really sure when we'll come back in Toronto. We got a real heavy 30-day sprint here that I'm trying to get through to get some products out in the market. But I might be there in the next couple of weeks for some meetings. But let's coordinate after this and see what we can do, because I'd love to go to a Raptors game myself.
Excellent. Yeah, you only have 4 tickets for every game. You're such a beauty, man, and I think these.
When are we going to do a contest next on your show? It's been a while, hasn't it? For some Leafs tickets or some Raptors tickets or something.
People would die for that, man. Throughout, through the show and through social, that will get anytime you guys want to give up some sort of tickets for follow you guys to do it. I'm sure everyone would be in.
Yeah. So tell Bilal to stop slacking, and let's set up a contest and get some tickets out there. Right?
Done.
Okay.
Done and done. And if I just happen to win, I mean, one of them. Hey, brothers, thank you, man.
Right.
These are important conversations, and I'm glad that we have them so candidly on air.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Later, man.
Kevin, Hobbs, everybody from Vanbex.
You're listening to the Todd Shapiro Show.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
On Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.